Sometimes one brave act can change a battle, and that's exactly what this man did. This is the story of Bruce "Steel" Kingsbury. Bruce Kingsbury was born on 8th of January 1918 in Melbourne, Victoria. He was educated at Wesley College and later attended Melbourne Technical College on a scholarship. Although he was qualified for the printing trade, Bruce chose instead to work in his father's real estate business in Northcote. In his early years, Bruce formed a close friendship with Alan Avery, a bond that would follow them through life. When Alan went bush for work in the Mallee, Bruce followed. Later, both returned to Melbourne, but when war came, neither hesitated. On the 29th of May 1940, Bruce enlisted in the 2nd Australian Imperial Force. Unknown to him, Alan enlisted on the very same day. Bruce was posted to the 2nd Pioneer Battalion, but whilst training at Puckapunyal, he ran into Alan, who was now serving with the 2nd 14th Infantry Battalion. Bruce requested a transfer, and it was approved. Together again, the mates were off to war. In October of 1940, the 2nd 14th sailed for the Middle East aboard HMT Aquitania. They served in Egypt, endured air raids at Mersa Matruh, and in mid-1941 they fought in the Syria-Lebanon campaign against Vichy French forces. During this fighting, Alan Avery was wounded, and later he was awarded the Military Medal for bravery under fire, with Bruce right there alongside him. But the war soon came closer to home, and after a brief respite in Australia, in August of 1942, the battalion sailed for Port Moresby, heading straight for the Kokoda track. On the 26th of August, Charlie Company of the 2nd 14th relieved the exhausted men of the 39th Battalion at Isaraba, the Australians heavily outnumbered. At dawn on the 28th of August, Japanese mountain guns opened fire. Infantry attacks followed. The fighting became brutal and close, often hand to hand. Bruce Kingsbury's platoon was devastated. By the next day, only a handful remained. Headquarters ordered a counterattack. Bruce volunteered immediately. He joined a composite platoon, and beside him was Alan Avery. Bruce took up the Bren gun of Corporal Lindsay Bear, who had been wounded earlier, and under intense machine gun fire, they pushed to attack. Then, Bruce stood up. Firing his Bren gun from the hip, he advanced straight towards the Japanese line, calling for his mates to follow. He broke through, cut down enemy positions, reloaded and kept going. Accounts record Alan supporting his advance, firing his submachine gun to protect his mate. Bruce paused briefly beside a rock to reload again, and that's where a sniper's bullet struck him down. Alan picked Bruce up and carried him back to the regimental aid post, but his mate was already gone. Bruce Kingsbury was just 24 years old. But his charge forced the Japanese to fall back, allowing Australian troops to withdraw, regroup and evacuate wounded men. Battalion headquarters was saved. For his action, Bruce Kingsbury was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross, the first VC awarded on Australian-controlled territory. Today, his VC is displayed at the Australian War Memorial in the Hall of Valour. And on the Kokoda track, there's a place known as Kingsbury's Rock, where locals and trekkers still leave flowers, marking the very spot where Bruce fell. Because for one moment, in a jungle, a young bloke stood up with a machine gun and stalled an advance. Not for glory, not for medals, but for his mates. And that's the story of Bruce Kingsbury VC, and that's a story worth remembering.